Hello, everybody. It's Marianne Bailey with the Hip Senior Podcast, Book Edition. Today, we are here with Chuck Schwartz, who wrote the book, Chuck's Lemonade, a recipe for inspired thinking and living. Chuck, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
So, Chuck's Lemonade, how did you come up with that? Tell us a little bit about where this book even started, how did it come about?
Thank you for asking. So, probably about 4 or 5 years before the book came out, I had gone through another one of my struggles in life and found myself unemployed for the first time in about 30 years. So, this was a new one for me. And I had already been through enough challenges and struggles and grabbed myself and dragged myself through them, which I won't go into now because they're in my book, so everyone can read it. But anyway, I'm sitting there unemployed, first time in 30 years, living in a new state. I had uprooted myself for this opportunity from New York to Texas.
That's a big difference.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And now here I am in this new place. That's not 100% new, but new enough without the usual support system that you kind of have around you.
Right.
And I had a choice. I had a choice to go down the negative path in life or go down the positive path and take myself through this and make lemonade, right? When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So I decided to channel myself and my energy in a way I'd never done before. And that included starting a gratitude journal, answering the question, what am I grateful for today? And another journal, and this one's really important. And the question was, what would make today great? And I answered that question, or those two questions, but the one about what would make today great, I answered that one every day. And then I challenged myself to live my answers. And with all that positive thinking, there wasn't a lot of room for negativity. And I started blogging about it. I went on Facebook and started telling my story to people. And then all of a sudden, people started responding. And, one became two, and two became four, and four became 400. And, 4 or 5 years later, and so many blog posts later, I looked at my wife, Renee, and I said, I think I have a book here. And I took the essence of my blog and I wrote the book.
How long did it take you to write the book?
Say again?
How long did it take you to write the book?
So I started the book literally on New Year's Eve in 2019.
Oh, wow. Recently.
It's our wedding anniversary, my wife and I wedding anniversary. We were sitting on a beach in St. Martin when I said to her, I think I have a book. And I'm a crazy deadline guy. So I gave myself a deadline of May 1st of 2020. We all know what happened in March of 2020.
Yep.
And I was not letting it stop me. So what's that? 5 months.
Wow. Wow.
I am a crazy deadline guy. When I put my mind to something, I'm doing it.
So you wrote Chuck's Lemonade in 5 months, period, from start to finish, except for you were pulling, was it fresh information or were you pulling from these blog posts as,
So the blog post themes became the chapter titles.
Okay.
And I used some of the content from blog posts over 4 to 5 years times 365 days a year.
Right.
That's a lot of posts. I had about 1,500 pages to go through to find the stories that I wanted to share. But the idea was each story and each chapter in the book is probably about 2 pages. It's a lesson, it's a story and a lesson behind it. So, and that's really the essence of the book, lessons and stories for turning your lemons into lemonade when life gives you lemons.
I subscribe to your email subscription thing where I get a snippet of your book or whatever every single day. I'm guessing they're probably not snippets from your book, right? They're just additional.
They are live posts that I think about every morning. I never write the same thing twice.
Right.
My blog is now that many years older than it was back then. And I've never missed a day since I started, but they are inspiration that I think about each morning. And I blog out to my readers every day.
That brings more value to that. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much for providing that every day. That is,
Grateful that you read them.
it always makes cheers up my day. It makes me more to hit the road running, you know. So who's your target market for this? I mean, obviously every author wants to say everybody, but really, what person do you think benefits the most from your books?
That's really a great question because the answer is adults, and because adults have had more time and opportunity to go through experiences, including experiences from their childhood that they carried into adulthood, like I did, and which is what's portrayed in the book. But what I've heard from some of the adults that have read my book is that they've given it to their children to help their children not go through some of the same issues and challenges that we adults have. So I find
We
that
all
pretty.
want our children to do better than us, right?
No, absolutely, right? And if we can give them a little nugget of wisdom to help them see something that's going to be an issue or a challenge down the road, wow, what a gift.
And it's really funny these days because our children, it seems like, are so much smarter than we ever were because they've got all this technology behind them and they all communicate better than we ever used to. But there's still that emotional aspect of learning from our adults, right? Of not being, you know, whether it's money or relationships or whatever. You can't get that stuff from a book always, but you can get tips and wisdom from other people in books that help along that route as well. So, especially if families are reading this together type scenario and sharing information back and forth, I think that would be really great for a lot of families out there that have these open discussions and communication with each other.
An interesting little side note is when I was writing the book, I didn't have to, but I chose to hand it out to three individuals to read the first draft of it, right? And give me their opinion. And one of them was my daughter, my then 25 or 26-year-old daughter, to have her critique it. But I sort of bared my soul there, right? Because the book is about me. The book is not about me, but it is about me. So it starts out with me kind of sharing stories and some of my most difficult and tragic stories in my life. And and then I kind of take the readers through, hey, sometimes life does give you lemons. And here's some ways to get through that. And then the second half of the book is Turn Your Lemons into Lemonade. And it's all inspiration taken from real life stories and things that I've been through. And again, it was kind of interesting, right? Because, sometimes parents don't want to share some of that stuff with their kids. And here I was having my daughter be, the first level critique of my book.
So, Chuck, people read your books and they set it down. What is the one thought that you hope they take away from this book? If they just could have one thought about everything in your book, what is the one thought?
So there is a section in my book with the title, Sometimes the Best Gifts Don't Come Gift Wrapped. Think about those words. When we think of a gift, it's a box with a bow or something wrapped, or right, some type of a gift like that. Well, this section in my book, Sometimes the Best Gifts Don't Come Gift Wrapped. I'm not going to, I'm not going to share the stories here, but they are 4 stories from my life when I went through a tragic event. Tragic for me, right? Everyone's tragedies are different, but tragedies for me.
Sure.
And where I challenged myself years later to look back at them and identify the gift that came out of that, right? This amazing positive that came out of that. Clearly, when I was going through that tragedy, don't think I saw the gift, right? I was going through the muck and the mud and trying to find my way and figure my way through it. But then years later, when I look back at what happened right after that and what got me out of it, I realized that was a gift. So then I chose to look at all my life events and find gifts in all of them. So even tragic events can have a gift. And that's what I would want the readers to take away. Learn to find gifts when life gives you lemons. Your attitude will change dramatically. Your ability to find gratitude changes dramatically. And there's something I talk about in the book as well, and that's this concept of living gracefully. And when I say gracefully, what I mean is life doesn't always go as you planned or as you wished, but that's life, right? But it's what you do next that matters most. So some things that I teach, and I'll give this away, is breathe. Just breathe, right? When you're facing that challenge, take a deep breath. Don't just react. Our first reactions are often not our best ones. Breathe and just breathe. Make time all the time. Make time to stop and smell the roses. Stop rushing through life, right? Life is not a competition and it's not a race. I know that's not what we're often taught, and it's not what we are given to by role models, but there's a beginning and an end, and we should enjoy the ride and enjoy the journey. Stop and smell the roses and breathe. And all of a sudden, grace just flows. And when I learned those two things, gratitude and grace, my life changed for me in a good way, like I can't even describe. And I love it so much that there's never, ever going back now.
That's awesome. I love it so much. I was just sitting here running through things in my head that made me realize, like, I remember, I'll tell you a quick story and then we'll wrap this up. When my daughter was 4 years old, I remember one time we went up to the Chinese restaurant near where we lived in Tennessee. And I was like, hurry up, Victoria, hurry up, hurry up. We're walking across the parking lot. Come on, hurry up. And she got inside and she's like, why are we always hurrying? At 4 years old,
Yeah,
and she's always been so
yeah,
much smarter than all of us. So I'm like, how at 4 years old did she, it's like she knew that life didn't always have to be such a rush.
no.
Because I
Ferris
mean, I knew my order was not even ready yet. I'm like, why was I rushing so badly?
yeah,
And encouraging that thought process and her. So she's 25 years old. So for the last 21 years, I've had that in my mind of not everything has to be a rush. Sometimes you do,
yeah.
but not everything.
Well, if you remember, there's a great line in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off where his friend was very uptight, Ferris Bueller's friend, and his friend was always worried about everything. And he just said to him, hey, life can go by very quickly. Slow down, look around, right? Enjoy it. And again, we're not often taught that. So that's, yeah, I remember you asked me a question the last time we spoke, and it's why I wrote the book. And I'll just take a moment. And, early on in my life, I was a guitar player and a musician, and would love to have been a great, successful musician up on stage. And it didn't work out that way. But then later in life, I kind of saw myself as a teacher. And I was actually teaching adults at a local library how to use technology better, some of what you do.
Yep.
And there I am up on the stage, right? Here I am being a kind of a performer, if you will. And and then the book comes and it kind of wrapped it up in a bow for me. Kind of this. I think I've always thought there was an author inside of me, right? There was a songwriter inside of me and a teacher. So now, I found this author inside of me, and when I was able to couple that with, teaching lessons and sharing wisdom, if you will, right? And then someone asked me the same question though about writing the book, and the one that really sticks out though is it's the word legacy, and the thought that 100 years from now I won't be here any longer, but my book will be, right? But the book can never go away. The book
Right.
will always be here, so that my words and my stories and my lessons and my wisdom will can be here forever. And someday someone might pick up that book and say, huh, I wonder who this guy Chuck was, right? That's pretty cool stuff.
That's really awesome. All right, Chuck. Well, thank you so much for telling us about your book. Much, much success to you.
Thank you.
Everybody, just click that purchase button over there and head over to Amazon. And when you read the book and you like it, go in there and give Chuck a review and tell everybody that you heard about it on the Hips in Your Books. So, Chuck, thanks again for being with us. I appreciate you. All
Thank you. Take care.
right, you too. Bye bye.